Hi everyone. I wanted to jump on and talk about narcissists today, and the reason being is I was commenting on a thread in another group last night where a woman had asked the question, can narcissists change? And sadly I spotted the same trend that has been happening for quite some time now, where people in the spiritual community are shaming the people that have been victimised by narcissists and giving out terrible, terrible advice based on spiritual sound bites like love conquers all, or spiritual sound bites like you are the mirror, so stop being the reflection, and all these things are just regurgitating sound bites that make them feel like they're being enlightened and giving enlightened advice about a topic that they don't truly have a sound psychological understanding of, and without having ever themselves perhaps been in the situation where they've been on the receiving end of somebody with narcissistic personality disorder. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous to give people advice about something that you do not know enough about. It's dangerous to presume and buy into a sentence about spirituality to the point that you're giving somebody advice about staying in an abusive situation where possibly even their life could be in danger. Okay, I'm not saying all narcissistic people murder and rape, but most that do those things have got narcissistic personality disorder. And even if there isn't physical abuse, the mental abuse and the emotional abuse are horrific. And working with trauma survivors, I see that firsthand. Having been in the situation myself, I actually went through it firsthand. I've crawled back from that abyss myself, and that's why I'm so passionate about working with trauma survivors. You know, some of the comments on this thread were terrible, and I felt I needed to talk about it here in my group because I know that a lot of you are in similar groups about spirituality, and you may well be coming up across this sort of topic in those communities. And reading through the comments as I did last night, and maybe allowing some of the comments to make you feel guilty for not trying harder with a narcissist. So I'm here to tell you, don't feel guilty, and don't let anybody ever shame you because they're regurgitating a spiritual soundbite that makes them sound and think like they're giving good advice when actually they're not. They're giving quite dangerous advice. I wanted to read some of the comments out to you. So there's one man in the comments that has said, "It's amazing how many of you are answering from a place of wounding." Now, yes, that would be true. There are a lot of people in the thread talking from personal experience about their experience with narcissists. So yes, maybe they are wounded, but they're allowed to speak their truth. He says, "And because you're coming from a place of wounding, you're full of shit. And you're acting on the same wounded judgmentalism that created the narcissists in the first place." And now he's blaming the people that have been victimised, the people that have now got trauma issues because of their relationships with narcissists. This man's actually now blaming them for the person being a narcissist in the first place. So you can see how out of hand this particular thread got. There are lots of comments like, "All you need is love." Well, with a narcissist, they don't see that they have a problem. There's been so many scientific studies done. There was one, in fact, where it has been shown that their brains are different. Now, this is the same with a highly sensitive person, actually, but their brains are different in a slightly, obviously, in a different way. But the narcissist's brain works slightly different. There are parts of it that are underdeveloped, and those are the parts where we have empathy. A narcissist doesn't have empathy when they're hurting somebody. Okay? Now you can't as somebody in a relationship with them deal with that. Okay? And for anyone to get help, they first have to be able to admit that they have a problem in the first instance. And part of that disorder is that they don't think they have a problem. They think everyone else is the problem when they're not serving the narcissist and their needs and their wants and their desires. Okay? And it scares me. It scares me that there are so many people in this one thread alone giving such dangerous advice out to people that are in a vulnerable situation and possibly suffering abuse right now. This lady that posted the question could be, she doesn't state whether it's a partner or family member or you know, who the person is, but she could potentially be suffering right now emotional abuse, violence, sexual abuse, any kind of abuse. And she's being, you know, there are people there making out that she's the problem. So, my point is, it is not anybody's job to fix anybody else. Empowerment is being in charge of yourself. This is why I drum home so much in the group, and I repost time and time again about boundaries. I'm actually creating a course about boundaries so that I can go into it in more detail, because obviously this is a free group that I run in my spare time. And there's only so much time I can dedicate to that. So I am creating a course for anybody that will be interested in that delves into it on a deeper level. But it doesn't have to be rocket science. It's about deciding what you will and won't tolerate. What are your non-negotiable boundaries that you are not prepared to bend for another person? And then no matter how much you find the other person attractive, no matter how charming they are, no matter what they say, if their actions are showing you a lack of disrespect, a lack of genuine love, if their actions are hurting you, then you have to be prepared to honour yourself, which means honouring the boundaries that you decided that you have and walking away. Even therapists find it damn near impossible to make genuine change in a narcissist. Sometimes a narcissist will go to therapy to keep a partner, but then usually, and this has been proven, there has been studies on it, often they go just to keep the partner and it's lip service for the partner. They're not engaging in the actual work. It's to keep hold of a relationship. Then the therapy drops off and they go back to abusing. Okay, they are manipulative by nature. That is part of the disorder. They compulsively lie, and it's one of the most difficult personality disorders to help and to affect changing as a professional, never mind as a layperson that happens to find themselves in a relationship with one. It is not anybody's job to fix another person. If the person that's got the disorder doesn't want to be fixed or doesn't see an issue with their problem, it is your job to walk away to protect yourself and possibly your children. And that's why many people do end up going no contact. People end up having to get injunctions out. It's a very serious disorder with very serious consequences for the people that are involved with them. And unfortunately in the spiritual community there are a lot of ill-advised, perhaps well-meaning people, perhaps not, who are giving terrible, terrible advice to vulnerable people. So I needed to get that off my chest, because I would hate for anybody in this group to see a thread like that and be guilt-tripped or be made to feel bad in any way, shape or form for having walked away from an abuser. Okay, so that's all I've got to say on that today. Got it off my chest, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.